Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Escape Podcast. Thank you for telling me I was muted. Hey, I didn't want to be here today. Yes,
Kevin Smith.
your ears are not deceiving you. It is I, Paul Anthony, here filling in for Brian until he gets here, along with Daniel Logan and the now with a body, Bob. Guys, how are you doing?
Good, buddy.
Outstanding, man. I couldn't be happier to be here to start off this launching episode. And yeah, let's get into it. Let's get to it.
All right. So, first off, normally you guys would have heard. I'm walking you through this as well. While we're doing this live, you guys would have played the open. You would have had the timer. You would have been able to figure that out, and then one of you bring in the show. So, I brought it in for you this time around. Why don't you tell us what we have on deck right now for today's show, Daniel?
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, tonight we are going to go over the kit for Zorii Bliss. CG's back. We all know this. They're back from their long hiatus of vacationing, drinking, and debauchery. And we got a new tune. And it could not be any more left field, in my opinion. I don't know what this is, but it's intriguing. Be prepared, folks. This kit is a dissertation. This kit is outrageous. It's got some really good stuff in it. We're going to cover that. From there, we are going to go into a little bit of how our GACs are going, and Bob has got some thoughts on the matchmaking.
Yes, sir.
In other news, CG put out an interesting tidbit of info by our favorite community manager, me, Ed, about the possibility of them looking into Darth Traya's interaction with Lord Vader.
Oh,
and
jeez.
I definitely have some takes on this. I have some thoughts on this. I may or may not have raged slightly yesterday on it a little bit because I feel pretty strongly about this topic. They are also going to be looking into the interaction of Scythe targeting with the profundity. So stay tuned. These are things they're looking into. We don't know what they're going to do. We don't. They haven't nerfed. CG has not nerfed anything in quite a while. The first order.
So they're due, is what you're saying?
Yeah. So, I mean, the first order fleet was countering Executor, and they let it stand. So we don't know, folks. We don't know. But I have some thoughts on what it is they could possibly do. Let's see. From there,
the first order on crack was taking down low-level executors.
Yes.
So just they are still rewarding the player investment. That's the big thing.
Yep. Absolutely. And from there, I'd kind of like to go around the panel and talk about what it is we're all working on, what we're farming, just to give you folks kind of a heads up.
You're still trying to figure that out about me, aren't you?
A little bit. But the one thing that, and Kane will be joining us shortly. And the one thing I really like is that I have a 10 million GP account. Paul has a very high account. Bob has a good account. Kane has like a mid game account. So I think it's really good that you get perspectives from all aspects of the game, of all things that we're working on. That way, depending on where you are, you know where to start putting your very valuable resources to get the best out of this game.
I agree, for sure. All right, we want to get into the Zorii Bliss.
Oh,
I just love that the only thing they can get, no offense to the sequel lovers, but all they can get out of that content is these characters that are like been in the movie for 5 minutes. So anyways, who wants to read the kit? You want me to do it?
I just think the way she looks, it's like she was ripped off the set of Flash Gordon.
Yeah, like a Power Ranger, like Arnold said.
A Power Ranger. It just, I'm still okay. Anyway, Kit, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hate on it too much because I think she is pretty good, and there's a lot worse characters in the game.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and read the top here for you, Bob, so you can get ready to decipher the kit for everybody.
Okay.
So it's Zorii Bliss. We thought this was coming a long time ago. Her model was already in the game. So
now, Paul, from where? Because I don't remember that.
There was an event. There was an event where she showed up. So
all right.
Stealth is a main factor in making Zori's abilities scary, quote unquote, for CG. Getting exposed on your enemy will spice up your life. Okay, what are we getting here? Big fan of tanks, loves to help them. They can't resist, and doesn't really like when resistance allies are sporting debuffs, but also kind of does like debuffs. And smugglers will enjoy their posh bonuses. I loved how they put that. I loved everything about this.
I bet you Meathead wrote that. It seems like the way he writes things, you can see his humor and when he's writing these updates.
Yes, Meathead does have a very, very, very good sense of humor.
Yep.
So let's take a look at this though. Why don't you start off with the basic there, Bob?
All right, Twin E 851 blasters. Deal physical damage twice to a target enemy. If Zorii is stealth, this attack can't be evaded and dispel all buffs on target enemy. For each buff dispelled this way, resistance allies recover 10% health. That's pretty good basic.
That is a really good basic. Any tune that dispels buffs on target enemy and also grants health to the rest of the team, that's a really good basic. And that's going to happen because from what I know already, this team has a lot of assists. So that's outstanding. That's outstanding for the team.
Yep, and that's just the first part. So our special one, Captain's Medallion, cooldown of 4. Dispel all debuffs on resistance allies. For each debuff dispelled, resistance allies gain 5% turn meter. Non-aligned force user resistance tanks taunt for 1 turn and gain protection up 50% for 2 turns. Zorii gains stealth for 2 turns. Call all resistance allies to assist. So that's pretty good too. It's kind of like a Grief Karga thing going on there.
Yeah. So she has a dispel on a basic. She has a mass dispel on all resistance allies, and for each debuff dispelled resistance ally getting 5% turn meter. That's really good. For the second unique, that's outstanding. She's dispelling buffs on the other team and dispelling buffs on the allied team. So it's almost everything you could possibly ask for.
Yep, and we're only halfway through. Special number 2. I've done worse for a lot less. Oh, really? Cool.
But really quick, Dr. Feelgood, thank you for the subscription at 1 tier. Zorii was in tier 2 of the Slacker event. I knew I'd seen her somewhere.
Wow, and that's why I don't remember it, because it was years ago.
The original GLs, yes.
No.
And I don't have him, so I wouldn't remember either. Okay. Done a lot worse for a lot less. Cooldowns of equal 4. Deal physical damage to target enemy. This attack deals plus 30% damage for each exposed triggered, and it stacks to a max of 300% until this ability is used. If Zorii is stealth, inflict a healing immunity on target enemy for 2 turns. If target enemy is exposed, stun them for 1 turn. If this ability defeats an enemy, expose all enemies for 1 turn, which can't be resisted. So
that's dirty.
So you want her in stealth, you want her killing people off, you want her doing the final blows.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's dirty. So not only does she dispel buffs on a basic and also dispel buffs on the allied team, but now if she inflicts healing immunity on target enemy. That's wow. Like we're looking at a Swiss Army tune.
Yeah, I think she's
pretty much at just from what we're looking at right now. This could be plug and play for resistance, for scoundrels, it's looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what people come up with.
So my question is she going to be as plug and play to resistance as Thrawn is to Empire? or or does Thrawn have the, no pun intended, the leg up on Zorii because of the fact that he doesn't need to be in the Empire squad to be able to fracture?
I think Thrawn's got the leg up just on fracture. I mean, as old as this kid is, fracture is still unless it's against the legend, fracture is still such a devastating move to put on somebody. So I still think Thrawn's a little bit more plug and play, but she's good. She's good, but I don't know if I'd put her at the Thrawn level yet.
So far, there's not a lot of caveats for just resistance characters. So, I mean, she's still going to be pretty dang good as long as she's under stealth.
Well, here you go. Go ahead and read unique number 1 there, Bob.
Alrighty. There's more of us. This is a Zeta and an Omicron. Sorry, I got to clear my throat. All right. If the ally in the leader slot is non-unaligned force user resistance, well, here we go. Here come all the resistance caveats. Resistance allies have plus 100% potency, while they have more allies than enemies. And they have plus 35 speed, while they have equal or fewer allies than enemies. So all the time, I guess. That's crazy. 35 speed and the potency. Okay, well, that's just the first one. Whenever Zorii uses an ability while stealth, the ally in the leader slot and Poe gain retribution for 1 turn. If Poe is taunting, he also gains critical hit immunity for 1 turn. Real quick, I saw on the forums, they asked which Poe are they talking about? It's either Poe. So it doesn't matter. If there's a Poe in there.
Lands End Poe or OG Poe.
All right, so if it's OG, okay, good. All right.
So that's really cool. The critical hit immunity, I was watching Arnold, and it saves, and he's taking out some insane teams with it. We'll talk more about that. Whenever a resistance ally has less than 100% turn meter and gains bonus turn meter, they gain 35% offense stacking for 1 turn.
Okay, look at that one. If they have less than 100% turn meter, and they gain bonus turn meter. So they have to go over 100 in this.
Okay.
That's the thing that you need to know about this ability.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
If they gain more turn meter than 100% because they're granted speed numbers, then that happens. So
okay,
there you go.
That makes sense. I didn't really understand that either, so I'm glad you said that. Whenever a non-unaligned force user resistance ally, say that 3 times, removes turn meter from an enemy, they inflict speed down for 1 turn. So you're removing turn meter, you're inflicting speed down. Well, if you're a resistance unaligned force user, whenever a resistance ally without tenacity up gains tenacity up, all other resistance allies without tenacity up gain tenacity up for 1 turn. There had to have been an easier way to say that one. While resistance allies have tenacity up, whenever they deal damage to an enemy, they have a 35% chance to inflict expose for 1 turn. Lots of caveats for that to happen.
Yeah, the expose, while it's good,
yeah, I just don't think it's going to happen too often.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you've got in her last ability, she has a potential to expose all enemies for 1 turn, which can't be resisted. So exposes are going to happen regardless.
Yeah, so that one's kind of just useless. But whenever a non-unaligned force user resistance tank taunts, they gain 15% max health stacking for the rest of the encounter, and whenever taunt expires on them, they recover 15% protection.
Oh, that's gross.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's gross.
So you're looking at Holdo there. You're wanting to use Holdo for that.
Okay. I didn't see any Holdo testing when I watched.
No, in any of the testing I saw, I didn't see Holdo on the team at all. Wow.
I think she would be good for it. I really do.
There's a very good possibility for that, but even before I saw any testing, my first thought was old Finn and old Poe, because they're both tanks. And I mean, so this ability is going to affect both of them.
I'll have to pull up old school Poe's leadership, but I think it goes really well with her kit. I'll do that here in a minute whenever we finish this.
But remember that it's whenever a Ufu R tank ends up taunting. So if they taunt again, that's another 15% max health. If they taunt again, that's another 15% max health.
Yeah.
See where that can get really, really dicey, especially for Haldo because of her, because of her abilities.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't remember what old school Poe's leadership is, but it does involve reducing cooldowns.
I will look that up right now.
Yeah,
I believe it does.
I'm going to be the Bob.
I believe he's correct on that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It feels good. I've got the upgrade. Let's see. While in Grand Arenas, okay, so this is the Omicron. While in Grand Arenas, if there are no Galactic Legend allies and all allies are resistance, if the ally in the leader slot is non-aligned force user resistance, whenever Zorii is stealth, at the start of her turn, all enemies without exposed are inflicted with exposed for 1 turn, which can't be evaded or resisted. So in other words, all resistance, non-aligned leader, and you'll inflict exposed on everybody for 1 turn.
All right.
What do you guys think about that one? Oh, go ahead, Paul.
So I was just going to say Stand Firm is the unique of original Poe, OG Poe. And at the very end, if Finn is present, he also gains the bonuses of plus 22% tenacity and recovering 7.5% of his max health whenever he resists a negative status effect. But here's the kicker. Whenever Poe loses taunt, Finn gains taunt.
It's just going to go back and forth.
It's just going to go back and forth.
Hold on. I said the wrong leadership, though. Go check out Finn's.
Check out Finn's? Okay. I'll
That's
do
what
that.
I was thinking. Go. Okay. All right. So we have another unique for her. Unique 2. Spice Runner Skills, and it has a Zeta. Zorii gains stealth for 2 turns at the start of each encounter. Smuggler allies have plus 35% accuracy and health steal. Whenever an ally triggers an expose, all allies recover 5% protection. The first time each resistance or smuggler ally falls down below 100% health, that ally gains 100% turn meter. If that ally was a non-tank, it also gains protection up 100% and stealth for 2 turns. If that ally was a tank, gain damage immunity and taunt for 1 turn instead. If this damage immunity or stealth is dispelled, that ally recovers 100% protection. And that right there was saving them a lot in the testing I watched. Whenever Zorii uses an ability while stealth, the smuggler allies gain buffs based on their roles. Attackers get crit damage up for 2 turns, healers and supports get speed up for 2 turns, and tanks get critical hit immunity for 2 turns. And that's the kit.
So we'll get into some of the testing that we've seen and some of the things that are going on here in a minute, but when this first hit, the first thing that I noticed, which could be an issue, I'm not going to say broken, but definitely something to think about, is that line where it says, the first time each resistance or smuggler ally falls below 100% health, that ally gains 100% turn meter. So if you keep doing lifeblood with Ray, you're getting 100% turn meter and you're getting automatic whirlwind. And in GAC, you're knocking somebody out of the park, left field.
Hold on.
There's got to be some caveat, like, because they really want you to not use it with a GL.
They don't. But that's literally the first thing that I saw that made me go, whoa.
I do know that Arnold was taking out Jabba the Hutt with him.
Yes, and that we were going to get into, because without Ray, Arnold was taking out Jabba the Hutt with a Finn lead with Poe, Zorii, and Bob, do you remember who the other 2 were?
I don't remember. Paul, did you look up Finn's leadership real quick
Yeah,
before we get too far off of it?
It is. His leadership also has a Omicron, but essentially it says that If an enemy is damaged by a resistance ally, for each expose on them, that enemy loses 5% turn meter for each resistance ally. All allies gain 3% turn meter for each resistance ally, and their cooldowns are reduced by 1.
Yeah, that's the one to use.
There it is. There it is. So while the Ray lead may be tempting because of that 100% turn meter, the Finn lead is really, that's where the magic is happening with this tune.
And I mean, Arnold isn't, he's one of the better ones. He has the money to put towards it. I'm not saying he's the most skilled or anything, but he himself were taking out Darth Revan's, all kinds of crazy teams with this. So
he was taking out Jabba with it, with a bunch of, I hate to say it, but garbage resistance tunes that everybody put like they weren't even on the bench. They were in the locker room filling water bottles.
And I don't think they even had great mods on them or anything.
And this is what I wanted to ask you two guys about. And it's going to lead into another topic later in the show, but how do you feel about that? A marquee just coming into the game with a bunch of garbage and beating the latest and greatest, one of the better GLs in the game. How do you feel about that?
I think it just depends where you're at in the game. If you're someone who is like you, put a lot of money into it, I would be irate. But someone who's like free to play and likes to go a little cheaper with things, cut corners, you're chomping at the bit for something like this, So it's good for one spectrum, but not the other. And I don't know, man. It doesn't it doesn't irritate me too much because it's going to be a long time before I even get her for whatever reason.
Well, I think some of the biggest questions is this tune viable at lower star, gear 12?
With power creep that's always happening, yes. Because they have to make it just enough powerful that people are going to want to actually go for this, especially the people that already have everything.
But in any of the testing we've already seen, was Zorii beating GLs in some of these top-notch teams at 4-star or lower? Or was it Arnold's testing of her at 7-star?
It was 7.
Then that's why I'm not going to get too overly worried about it because, again, as Nev would say, it's the tip of the spear. I'm not going to sweat that too much because I don't feel that's something I'm going to run into immediately. It's going to be a minute. And for everyone else, if this is something you want to wail on, if the data is correct and you're taking out a top-notch GL, maybe that's something you want to look into. But if it's only working at 7-star, that should give any spender a moment of pause because any marquee tune that you want to bring to 7, that's an investment. And you don't know later on down the road if CG is going to look at this and go, well, as long as there is no GL present. Because that's the caveat they like to throw in now. When something works too well, they throw in as long as there's no GL present. So it's one of those things where I would wait a little bit, see where it goes before you decide to make that. Because, wailing out on a marquee, that's not cheap.
That's like 275 is usually the number that I throw out there.
And that's not even including gear.
That's not including gear. That's just for the stars.
Also, don't forget, you got to have the rest of your team somewhere up around level 5, maybe even more, which are all tunes that no one wanted to do that aren't really that useful anywhere else unless you have Zorii Bliss on there. So,
exactly.
But if you got Ray, if you have GL Ray now, I don't think it'd be a problem.
Then you've got those tunes.
Right. So I guess it won't be as much of a problem for most.
Rose Tico was in that lineup that Arnold was using.
Yeah, because of the stun.
Yeah, because of the stun.
Rose Tico's stun is highly, highly underrated. It is a sleeper ability that people don't go into something expecting. It's not a fracture, but you're
Right.
stunned.
Her will to sacrifice herself for the Rancor goes unmatched with any other will in the
I
game.
hate you. This is why I left this show.
It left me to torture the other two.
Exactly.
All right. So what else do you guys think? Are we good on Zorii?
I do think that it's definitely not. I mean, other than that one part of her unique too, this is not a tune that you put with Ray. Ray got her lifter with Ben Solo. This is a tune to kind of shore up the rest of the Resistance trash that we all kind of go, well, they're relicked, but there they are, and we don't really know what to do with them.
Well, this is their way of monetizing a rework. And do you notice that every time they do this type of you could call it a rework or release this kind of character that picks up crappier characters, they all assist out a turn. They all have like pretty much the same thing going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they have of course, they're all going to be unique in their own ways, but pretty much they're attacking out a turn a lot, like Mon Mothma, like Radis, and then you have mechanics to make them beefier, all through one single character. And that's just what they're doing here. They're without them having to rework 4 different characters, they're just going to release one that you're going to wail out on, and they make money off of it instead of just reworking them, and we get them for free. That's what it all comes to.
And that's one thing I like that they're doing. Like, take Sonastaros, for example. Who in their great mind was really putting any investment into Captain Han Solo or Rolo or any of those rebels or Stormtrooper Han? Who was actually putting any kind of investment in these tunes until Sonastaros came out?
Yep, and I just forgot about that. Yeah. She does it. Don't they do the same thing? Do they just attack out of the turn a lot? Yeah. And yep.
And I cannot wait for her to be farmable, because my Stormtrooper Han is Relic 7. My Captain Han is Relic 5. For some reason, I don't know why, I need to go in and get a CAT scan done, but I put a Zeta on Rolo. So, I mean, I'm ready for Sonastaros to be farmable.
Dude, my one, everyone, okay, not everyone, but a lot of people like to do like a meme character, like Cup to R9 or something.
Hondo!
Hondo. Like, Stormtrooper Han is my Hondo, is my, who I want to take to R9 someday. I don't know why. I just like him a lot. As a kid, I love the figures where he could take the helmets off. And then just like his kit is constantly feeding turn meter and taking away turn meter, like his kit is cool. So I just,
wait a minute. I'm still trying to digest, and with this response, I may have to go grab some Tums. But Paul, did you bring Hondo to Relic 9?
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
Day 1.
Yep.
Day 1, he was taken to Relic 9.
Oh God.
No regrets. Okay. No regrets.
Not
even a letter.
I can't even talk smack. I really can't, because I got Hondo's Datacron, and because of that, I put him to 7. I put him to 7.
And I've
you
met
know
some
what?
people
He
in
takes
chat.
out Malgus. He actually takes out Malgus.
Oh, really? How's that?
Old Ben, TK, Hondo takes out Malgus. Not for the greatest banners, but he gets it done.
Hey, it works. That's a tough team, man. I usually have to use a GL or something against him.
Don't do it if Darth Revan's in the team.
Oh, because
fear makes it way too complicated.
Huh. Okay. All right.
But if Darth Revan is not in the Malgus lineup, Old Ben, TK, and Hondo will. I mean, Hondo will be the last man standing, but he's going to hit for 200K off a basic.
And he has 100% health steal.
Yeah, which is so dirty.
All right, we are coming up at the top of the hour. What you would normally do here, Daniel, is
sir.
throw it over to a break. So why don't you practice doing that for me?
We're gonna go to a break now, and please stay tuned for these very important messages. I don't know what we're yelling about, but here we are.
I love Lamp.
I love Lamp.
Do you really love Lamp? Or
no, I love Lamp.
Are you just saying things that you see?
I didn't ask for these powers.
All right, we'll be right back on the Escape Pod cast. All right, so we play the break. This one is the short break. Usually it's about 3 minutes, 4 minutes or so. And
Yeah,
let's see
waiting on
if
I think you're still live.
Oh, I know we're still live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
All
Okay.
right. So what we're going to do right now is I see that Brian is coming online. So, as soon as he gets here, I will take these guys back in to the I'll cue them back in, and Logan, you're going to bring us back from the break, because what's going to be happening is Brian's going to be running OBS, so he'll see the timer and he'll cue you to go.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Don't leave us, Paul.
I'm not. I'm going to be in the background, just telling you guys to go to break.
Don't ever leave us.
Didn't this Darknar says? Didn't this show end like a week ago? No, the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast is moved on to the Old Man's Private Reserve.
I'm here, dag nabbit.
So we're continuing the show. I'm producing in the background. Yeah, it didn't end. It was reworked. That's a great way to put it, Jack. It was.
Just imagine Old Man's Cantina.
It got an Omicron.
And TEPc came together and made a beautiful love baby. And this is what we got.
So
if it got an Omicron,
beautiful it
I'd
is.
be able to swear, but I have to sit here and censor myself. Just not easy. You think I like self-discipline?
All right. So there's the man of the hour.
He's booting up now.
Yeah, no, he's here.
There he is.
He's here. So,
hey, what's up, buddy?
I've gone
offline.
I am just now in the background. So, Brian, what you're gonna do is you're just gonna cue Daniel to bring you back in from the break. You got that?
I just heard you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I saw when you connected to audio. So, yeah, just cue Daniel in. You guys will go until the bottom of the hour.
Can someone? Damn it. Can someone bring up the post that Tuscan Meathead put up about Traya and what it said?
Yeah.
Getting in now.
Yeah, because that was the next topic I wanted to bring up.
All right, once you guys have that, Brian, cue Daniel. Daniel, go.
All right, buddy.
Zori's kid.
It's hard to find stuff on there.
Yeah, sometimes it is.
Especially when it's things that are connected to your Discord.
Yeah.
It's more like all over the forums.
I got it. I'll read it for you from the voice of God, okay?
Oh, so you're like the new Bob.
He is.
You're gonna
No,
voice
I'm not gonna be here.
No.
I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Dag nabbit. They
What was
drank
that
all the
off of?
Gatorade.
What was that? What movie is that off of? I was saying that at work.
Clerks.
That's right. Yeah.
One of the greatest. That conversation about the contractors on the Death Star is one of the greatest scenes in cinematic history.
It sounds like you're about to cry.
I am, because it's so great.
All right.
All right, Brian, bring him back. Let's move on to segment 2.
All right, old man. In 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, folks. The Escape Pod cast, also known as the Old Man's Private Reserve. Once again, I am Old Man Logan, and with us is the immortal one, Kate.
Hey.
What up?
He had some family stuff to deal with, but he's with us. He's here for the launching episode of this great show, and with us, as always, is Bob. Love Bob. Love to have him with us. So
Love doing this with you guys. I'm glad to be here with y'all.
No, thank you. So real quick, Kane, while you were gone, we went over, I don't know how much time you've had to look at it, but real quick as a recap, we went over Zorii Bliss's kit. Did you get a chance to look at it? And if you did, What do you think?
So, no, I usually do our reveals, and you get my 100% reaction every time we do a reveal.
Yes, sir, I do.
No, I have not been able to look at her kit. I'm curious because it's resistance and how it's going to synergize. That's about all I know about her kit at the moment.
Okay, well, this brings us to our next topic, which is outstanding. Because apparently, reports from what I've heard and from what I've seen is that this tune, with a grouping of resistance garbage, Poe, Finn, Rose Tico, they're beating Jabba. This one tune, and they're beating Jabba. The full Jabba team. Bougie Leia, Skiff Guard, Chrysanthemum, the works. It's beating it. So, how do you feel about that?
I mean, you kind of knew it was coming.
Did you know?
Everybody knew it was coming. Everybody knew that they were going to drop a tune that was going to compete with Jabba.
Now, is this because of the lovely Traya gift that CG gave us, which is our next topic that we're going to get into? Because, oh, man. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Traya.
I see what you're saying, though, with Zorii being... If Zorii was a legendary star killer type character, then I think it's okay. I see what you're saying, for it to like start countering GLs. To literally just farm one character and be able to take out a GL, I might be a little against it. You know what I mean? Because it's just too easy. You put all that work into getting a GL. You should have to put in a lot of work to be able to counter one. You know.
That's true.
I would agree with that to a point. The other thing is, I think with Zorii is, at least the last I checked, Rey is still the least acquired GL in the menu of GLs. From last I looked. So having those tunes, and also from what I've heard, she needs to be at 7-star and in relics for this counter against Jabba to actually function properly. So that's an investment. Not everybody is going to invest in that. Again, when you're in GAC, you're going to want to scout your opponent. If they have it, it's relict. The rest of the team has good mods. You might want to think twice about placing Jabba. So that being said, Traya, good Lord. Man, I don't know about you, but the past couple rounds in GAC, the Darth Nihilus lead with Darth Traya and Darth Sidious was beating Lord Vader, and for solid manners. It's not even a close contest. And it doesn't even matter if Maul's there. It could be Lord Vader, Maul, Royal Guard. It could be Lord Vader, Maul. It could be anybody. And Traya is going to smoke it. Absolutely smoke it, and with good banners. Now, once again, Bob, remind everybody, what's your GP at?
At 7.3, I think.
What's your Traya at?
I just took her to gear 12 and put an Omicron on her.
So you spent it.
Yeah, I just did it. I did it like last week or something. Yeah.
All right. Kane, where's your Traya?
Gear 12, and I was about to put the Omicron on her.
You lucky dog.
Smart man, smart man.
I just got the last piece that I needed to do another Omicron.
Now, I will give you my honest take on this right now. Sitting at 10.2 million GP, I don't care. I don't care. Lord Vader was the top dog for so long with the Dodge Cron and all that nonsense. And now it's a different meta. It's a different meta. There's new datacrons. There's different stuff out there for people to play with. I think off meta counters are good for the game. I really do. I really think that they're good for the game. Now, this argument is multifaceted. It really is. I've heard the argument that it doesn't take any skill to just place Nihilus, Traya, and Darth Sidious and beat a legend that has some of the most monetary investment to obtain, Lord Vader, the Relic 9s, the Relic 8s, the gear requirements, all the time you put into it. What do you guys think? I'm an endgame player, so I feel like my opinion is kind of irrelevant. I kind of gave my opinion. It's not bothering me. What do you guys think? Is this good for the game? Do you guys want this? And should CG nerf it? So, Bob, we'll start with you. What do you think?
Like you said, there's a lot of layers to it. As a player where I'm at, I would just be happy if she could counter anything below a GL. I don't need a Lord Vader counter because, well, I do. Don't get me wrong. I could always use an LV counter. But, I mean, remember, we can also counter LV with Fennec Shan if you get the right thing going. And that's what I was already focusing on anyways. So with that being said, there's no real reason to nerf this Omicron because there's not even Omicrons on the Fennec Shan team, and they've never nerfed that. So what's the point of nerfing an Omicron? An Omicron is already more investment than what the Fennec Shan team would be in a way. So that's why I was saying don't do it. And there's getting to the point where there's so many GLs, off meta counters aren't as crippling as they were when there was only 4. You know what I'm saying, or something like that. So I just don't get their thought process on nerfing things and not nerfing things because it's never consistent. It's kind of biased towards one thing or another, and it just never makes sense. But I don't know, Kane. What do you think, man?
So if let's say the Lord Vader Datacron was still around, I would say no, don't touch the Omicron. With it being gone, I see where they're coming from when they nerf it. I really do. I mean, it's a GL, and you have not even a legacy character that's countering a GL. That's insane. I could see it working if you had maybe a Relic 8 Traya going up against Relic 2, Relic 3 Vader. But not whenever you're both sitting at Relic 8, Relic 9, and you're just destroying a GL with a non-legacy character. I see where they're coming from. I agree with what they're doing. I don't agree with how they're doing.
I'm going to jump in here, guys. Remember, Traya is a raid character. It's not like you just get handed this character.
No, you don't. You got to work for it.
You or your guild has to work for it. So that's exactly my point, Daniel. So I'm just trying to find, the reason why a character that you have to put investment into is once again being neutered.
Well, that's the other thing. The last report we got was it's being looked into. We don't know what they're doing yet. As of right now, that
always means a nerf. They don't say that unless they're ready to nerf something. Like if they intended for this to happen, they wouldn't be looking into it.
But then again, Executor was a big cash grab for them, yet they did the one ship for first order, which countered Executor, and they never touched it. CG has actually not done a nerf in a hot minute. Can you name the last time they actually really nerfed something? It's been a little bit,
and
so we don't know.
Yeah, and it's
wasn't it Lord Vader the last time they did a really big nerf like that?
No.
Because I thought that's why the little Logan quit playing during the big nerf because they dropped
the
Lord
great
Vader.
nerf. No, that was Darth Vader. That was the great nerf. That's why my son.
And Watt and some other people too.
Yeah, that was the great nerf.
The great, that's what we've all called it too.
Yeah,
The great nerf of
he
2021.
quit playing after the great nerf. He went, no, you know what? Because my son had put so much effort into these counters, and then they nerfed them all, and he went, no, I'm done. And he quit playing, and he went to Marvel Strike Force.
Hey.
Yeah.
But you know, this goes for any game out there, not just this. It's not really fair to nerf something, but sometimes it's integral to do that if it's too broken. But if it's not really broken and everyone's enjoying it and the fan base likes it and no one's really complaining about it, I haven't heard anyone complaining about Traya countering it. You know what I'm saying? Even the people getting countered, I'm sure, are using that counter. So no one's complaining about it. So why nerf it? And that's what's really frustrating for a lot of players for any of these games is you don't do enough testing and you put something out and something fun happens that you didn't expect, but you don't like that. So you take it away from the players. That's not fair. Now, if it's something that's just insane, that's taken away from the fun of the game, then yeah, I'm always for a nerf that needs to be done. And but I just, you know, but you know, Kane had a good point. It shouldn't be doing that at the same time. If someone's going to put that much investment into Lord Vader, you shouldn't be able to just throw an Omicron on somebody and just wipe that out with no problem. So, you know, I don't know, to be honest, what the best answer is. And I guess if it can be any other character that's not a GL, I think that's sufficient. So,
but on the flip side of that, is that not a good tool for a mid-game player to have in their toolbox? And especially, and Bones, we're going to get into this later, especially with the matchmaking, more of a mid-game player, 5-6 million, runs into an 8 million account that has Lord Vader, and he sticks him on defense, but he's got that Traya Omicron. He has a chance to compete, to beat that. I agree with that.
That's why I was going to do it.
I think that's a really good tool for a mid-game player to have in their toolbox. And I think taking that away, because whether it's I don't know how CG operates, whether it's a lack of testing or what it is, I'm not even going to speculate, but why would you take that away? I mean, you put it in the game. So why would you take that away from people that are loyal, that want to play this game, that want to compete? You've given them a tool, but no, that invalidates somebody's I mean, I get it. And that's why I see both sides of the argument. It invalidates some people's investment, but it gives mid-game players a tool in the toolbox. And I just think that's good for the game. That gives people that I believe keep this game going more incentive to keep playing, to keep grinding. Oh, okay. I don't have to go for a legend right this second. I can work on the Sith Triumphant, get him up there, and I have an automatic. And it's not just a counter for Lord Vader. It stomps on Inquisitors. That Traya Omicron beats a lot of stuff. It is probably one of the most powerful Omicrons in the game right now.
I have a quick question though. I've never countered an LV or tried it with this, obviously, because mine's Gear 12. What is it in the Omicron that is allowing her to counter LV?
Okay, so I already pulled it up. While in Grand Arenas, and to counter Lord Vader, the comp I've been using is a Nihilus lead, Darth Sidious, and Traya. But Nihilus is the lead, because Nihilus's lead, all protection is put to health, and I don't remember the number, but under a Nihilus lead, you get like a ridiculous amount of health steal. But because Traya's Omicron is on a unique, not her leadership, it carries over to the rest of the team. Darth Sidious's basic inflicts healing immunity off a basic. So, and I know I'd heard some people say, well, they might nerf the damage from the Traya Omicron. I don't feel like that's going to matter. if Darth Sidious is applying health immunity, eventually you're going to whittle Lord Vader down to where it kills him. But while in Grand Arena, Sith allies gain 40% critical damage, max health, and offense. When a Sith ally suffers a debuff, they gain 10% bonus protection, stacking until the end of their turn. At the start of each Sith ally's turn, Traya dispels all debuffs on them, and all Sith allies gain 5% critical damage, health steal, max health, and offense, stacking max 100% until the end of the encounter. When an allied Darth Talon is critically hit or inflicted with a debuff, no, that's all for Talon. But the first part of that, Omicron, I mean, that's what you want Traya to do. When you have an Omicron on Traya in GAC, you want to target teams that inflict a lot of debuffs because it's just going to make you more survivable and more powerful. And Lord, I mean, people, when this Omicron first hit, I remember looking on Discord, like everyone was saying, "Oh, it's going to beat Lord Vader," and it's smoking it. It's absolutely smoking it. Now, if they nerf it, is that fair to somebody like Kane, who has an Omicron to spend and could have a tool in his toolbox? Is that fair to him?
With that question being asked, I ask you a question. If I was, I don't know, Relic 4, Relic 5 on my Traya team, just across the board, I had her Omicron and I went up against your Vader and I took it out with my Traya team. Do you think that's fair to you with how much time you've invested into the game compared to how much time I invested?
If I scouted you on GAC and saw you had an Omicron on Darth Traya, I would not place my Lord Vader.
If it happened, that like it's one of those hypotheticals. Is it fair to me by doing that because it gives me a chance? Because I do see Lord Vader. But is it fair to you being that much higher GP than me if my Traya can smoke your Lord Vader?
I think that's almost kind of an unfair question because I scout. Now, for somebody that doesn't scout, okay, you place Lord Vader and they got a Traya, then you deserve to get smoked. But I scout. So
but 5 mil compared to 10 mil. You have double my GP. Is it fair if my Traya was to destroy your Lord Vader? That's kind of the counter argument.
And you know what? That is a valid argument. It is. Would it bother me? No. And that's just me. And I'm being 100% honest and 100% real. It wouldn't bother me. It wouldn't. Because overall, you may take out my Lord Vader, but if you're 5 mil and I'm 10 mil, you're going to beat Lord Vader, but you're not going to beat much after that.
I would, my opinion is I would disagree with that. And the reason I say that, if I was 10 mil and you were 5 mil and you beat my Lord Vader with me sitting at 10 mil, that's a slap in the face to me. Look at how much time I had to put in to get 10 mil. Like I said, I see why they're doing it. I just don't agree because of my situation.
But I don't look at Lord Vader as just a GAC investment. I look at Lord Vader as a TB investment. I look at him as a TW investment. I look at him as a assault battle investment. You know, he's an overall game investment. In GAC, you need to be careful. You need to scout your opponent. You need to see what they have. You need to apply a proper defense depending on what your opponent has. Everything else of that investment is you're gonna rack in the benefits. You've already got them. You're gonna do TB, TW, all the other events. You're gonna get the gear. You're gonna get the goods. GAC, because crystals are involved, you've got to really play, and you've got to play smart. And that's why, no, honestly, if I place my Lord Vader on defense and I didn't scout and my opponent has a Traya Omicron, I deserve to get smoked. I deserve it. But to take that away, to take that tool out of the toolbox for mid-game players, I don't agree with that. I don't. And that's coming from a person that has an endgame account. I don't agree with it. I think you should let them have it.
I agree with the fix that was mentioned in the disc. And Bones, I believe that you've seen it. Because I think you commented on it. I know Logan and I both commented on it, but do a no GL clause on the Omicron. Leave it the way it is, but put it as a no GL. Now you fix the issue. Now you fix the issue, and it's not doing what it's doing to Lord Vader.
But it can still take out Inquisitors. I don't know what other teams it can take out, but it's still going to be insanely good. I think that's the best solution. I don't think they should change anything and just do like what you said.
You know what? In my eyes, lore-wise, Darth Traya should mop the floor with a bunch of Inquisitors, in my opinion. That's just me.
So what if this is intended? Do you think this is, and Zorii Bliss is intended and things like that, do you think this is their way of making up for the matchmaking?
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's
hot take. Good. I was about to say,
you know what, Bones,
I gotta go.
I loved you.
Darn.
Bones, I loved you. I loved you before we met.
Wow.
Because of your sense of humor. Like, you just went from here to here, like instantaneously, bud. That was awesome.
Just so you know, that's my best question I've had ever on the show. So
Bone just caught us with our pants down. Like
he did.
Like, wow.
All right, guys. So what you'll do in this kind of situation, especially when a good punchline has been hit, you're going to look at the clock. Yeah, if it's near the bottom of the hour, throw it to a break. So go ahead and throw it out.
Yeah. We're going to break because Bones just screwed us all up. So we're going to break. We're gonna chew on our brains on this one, and we'll be right back at you.
Oh, don't forget
matchmaking,
and don't forget to tell them what's coming up.
Oh yeah, we're Bones has quite a bit to say about matchmaking. Stay tuned.
There you go. There you go. All right.
And you probably already covered this. How long are our breaks?
So it depends on what it is. And yes, everybody who's listening, we know this is episode 0. This is an official episode, but no production being done, so they could get the timing and stuff. You guys get to see you get behind the scenes, exactly. Yep. So it just depends. Right now, Thaddeus's story time with Uncle Thad would be playing. That usually runs about 5 to 6 minutes on average. And then you have about 2.5 minutes of commercial. So it's about an 8.5 minute break on the reg.
Are we still having guests, or is that just random whenever we want to have one?
Well, you were supposed to have a guest. Unfortunately, Go Cubs couldn't make it. So it's, yeah. So, I mean, you're the guest. Bones is the guest.
Oh, Go Cubs. He's in my guild. I was on GAC Lab the other night. I love that guy.
I have some good people too. So you guys us 3 need to make or 4 need to make a DM chat.
Yeah, we'll definitely get that going. So, all right. So, and for those who are watching this very part right here, what I'm saying right now will be replaced by the actual story time. So.
Hello there, Padawans, and welcome back to Storytime with Uncle Thad and the Escape Podcast for Kids. Today, we are going to look at a character that many of us have speculated was coming to the game, and her addition raises a number of questions as to where the game goes in the future. Will this light side scoundrel bring with her more ships? Is she the first step on the road to the next galactic legend? We'll talk about all of this as we go over the kit and the lore as we discuss Zorii Bliss in this week's story time. Zorii Bliss was a human female born on the frozen planet Kijimi sometime around the Battle of Yavin. Her mother, Ziva Bliss, was leader of the notorious Outer Rim gang, the Spice Runners of Kijimi. But even though she was the daughter of the leader, Zorii didn't want any special treatment from the gang. She wanted to earn her keep and the respect of the other members of the gang on her own merit. And she did just that. Zorii didn't play second fiddle to anyone, and as she aged, she grew in skill, cunning, and responsibility within the crew. Ziva would entrust her daughter with increasingly more challenging tasks. One such mission landed a young Zorii Bliss and her crew on the Yavin 4, and it is there that she met the handsome young pilot by the name of Poe Dameron. Now, Poe and Zorii didn't have the traditional will they, won't they relationship. Theirs was, of course they will, and why the hell shouldn't they? Zorii and Poe became thick as thieves, which is essentially what they were. They went on various missions throughout the Outer Rim, but no matter how hard Zorii tried to truly turn Poe to a life of crime, the future Resistance hero just didn't have it in him. Poe uncovered a plot by Ziva Bliss to consolidate other crime families into her own Spice Runner mega crew. The miscreant matriarch had gathered all other Outer Rim Spice Runners to one place, allies and enemies alike, under a banner of truce. She wined and dined the heads of each house, and after she had broken bread with these crime bosses, Ziva was literally going to break them. Literally. Like, she had planted explosives all around the building that, they were meeting in. And at an appointed time, the explosions would go off and the Spice Runners of Kijimi's competition would be eliminated. Of course, Poe, being the eternal good guy that he is, betrayed Zorii, warned the other crime bosses, and instead of having a celebration party for a job well done, the Spice Runners of Kijimi were plunged into years-long war with other factions, which is a real shame. The celebration that was planned after the criminal leaders had all died had like a bounce house, pin the tail on the Jabba, and loads of imported shrimp from Mon Cala, which is actually like a hate crime to the Mon Cala people. You never want to offer a Mon Calamari a shrimp cocktail. It is horribly offensive. Wait, where was I? Oh yeah, Zorii vowed revenge on Poe and had spent much of her adult life leading the Spice Runners and throwing darts at a life-size cutout of Poe Dameron. And with that, you have a pretty good understanding of where Zorii Bliss is in the Star Wars canon. Now let's take a look at her kit and see how she measures up in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. First and foremost, Zorii Bliss is a light-side smuggler, and even though she has strong scoundrel tendencies, she is not above offering her support to the underdogs of the Resistance. Zorii's basic attack is actually an interesting one. Now, I know I say that a lot, but this time, I mean it. Not like all those other times when I was probably just lying. Zorii was hurt very badly because of Poe's actions, and as such, she liked to shoot things, like a lot. And she liked to hide in the shadows and just like pop out and shoot things. Most of the time she would like scream, Poe! Yeah, Poe really hurt her. Now, I want to clear something up. Zorii Bliss didn't actually have a captain's medallion. So the whole concept of like her freeing the people, that was kind of a lie. That was just something she made up. Like I said, she wanted to get back at Poe. What she gave the Resistance leader was actually nothing more than a really impressive drink coaster. There's no way that Zorii could have known that the First Order was so inept that would actually work. Now, I'm going to touch a little bit on Zori's second special ability. Now, I mean, we all make mistakes from time to time, and sometimes we date people we shouldn't. Sometimes we do things that we shouldn't. So the ability, I've done worse for a lot less, it's just... it's a sad nod to some mistakes that Zorii made in her past. And who am I to judge the actions of a person after her heart is broken? I'm not going to be that guy. Her first unique ability, There's More of Us, is something that I think we really need to talk about. Now, I don't like bashing capital games. I don't. I like to keep it, pleasant and fun and kind of lighthearted. But I'm going to say this. The lack of Babu Frick in this kit needs to lead directly to the Babu Frick Galactic Legend. I mean, I think we've all been asking for it. This is the Galactic Legend that not only do we want, but we need, we deserve. I'm going to stop there before I get myself worked up because I've spent a long time thinking and talking about this to myself, and the mirror and my Babu Frick life-size cutout. But can you imagine a Babu Frick, the droid master mechanic? Can you imagine Babu Frick with Dr. Afra's murder droids? I mean, game over, man. Game over. Well, finally, let's talk about Zori's Spice Runner skill set. Now, of course, she had to be good at keeping secrets and flying her ships. I mean, that's basic Spice Runner 101. But there are a number of other really important skills a good Spice Runner needs to have. First off, they need to be able to make the best grilled cheese. You never know when you need to impress someone, and the easiest, quickest way to impress someone is with the perfect grilled cheese. That's just the most important thing. Now, next, she needs to be an expert at the nunchaku. Nunchaku skills are incredibly important in the Spice Runner trade. Any Spice Runner worth their salt can use nunchucks. It's just, you absolutely have to have it. That's like basic Spice Runner stuff. Now, finally, this was one of her, more refined skills. Zorii Bliss could burp the entire alphabet like an opera singer. It was a beautiful thing to watch. Well, that's all for me this week. Tune in next week for more story time with Uncle Thad on the Escape Podcast for Kids.
Break.
All right, old man, you're on in 3, 2, 1.
And we're back from our break, folks. Thanks for hanging in there and listening to us ramble on about this lovely game that we all love to hate and hate to love. I'm actually going to kick this over to Bob a little bit because this next topic, we're going to talk about some matchmaking. And
okay, well, hold on. I had a question for you guys. Are these Zorii Bliss, Traya Omicron, counter GLs type of thing? Is this the answer for matchmaking? And then I'll go on my rant. But do you guys think that's it, or is it just some other random?
I would
craziness?
accept it. I would accept that. I mean, of the two of us, the biggest complainer about matchmaking has been me. I just got my first GL, and I've already been facing up to 3, 4, and 5 GLs at a time.
Same.
So I would say yes.
What do you think?
I don't think that's a simple answer for the question of we don't know what CG is going to do. I'm just going to be 100% honest. Their testing is non-existent. If Traya had been properly tested, they would have already known that there was some oddball reaction with Lord Vader and addressed it. And as for Zorii Bliss, I don't know. But if everything stays the way it is, then yeah. CG is giving mid to slightly later game players a blueprint on how to deal with GLs. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I just don't. I don't know. Maybe it's just in the back of my head. This is just a game. And what keeps us coming back is the community and the interaction of the community and the great people that we meet. So, I don't know. Yeah, I think this is this could be an answer for matchmaking. Now, again, I'm not going to have a lot to say in this topic. I mean, I'm at about 10.2 million GP. So, I mean, the people I'm facing are 9.8, 10.5, sometimes 11. I mean, where I'm at in Kyber 1, it's pretty much that's the GP I'm dealing with.
Right.
But like Bob, for instance, some of the GACs I've come in and watched you do. You're facing people that you're like, yo,
dude,
who did I piss off in a past life?
Okay, well,
like,
first of all,
why is this happening to me?
First of all, 3v3, you in 5v5, you can take on I can take on a 4 GL opponent, maybe a 5 with 2 GLs. I can make it work with Star Killer and some other things, right? If I'm lucky, I mean, everything's different. Every match is different defenses are set, but it can happen. Anything past 4 or, anything past 5, it's impossible. You're screwed. Unless they just set like a easy defense. With 3v3, that's not, there's so much, you can tell the difference between GP and GL so much more in 3v3 than you can with 5v5. So it's just like if there's 4 GLs and you have 2, you're just done. Because think of all the extra requirements they have for teams to set on defense, to use on offense in 3v3. That's not the case in 5v5. So that alone is just so tough to overcome, and it's not fun. And I love to play this game for fun, and that's my favorite mode. And it's not fun because, Datacrons, they're not as prevalent where I'm at, so that's not much of the case. It's really just comes down to the matchmaking for me. That is so frustrating. And no one's talking. I mean, I always see people complaining about it. I mean, I have so much to say about this. Like, let's go back to when they made this change, right? It was you no longer got matched up with people that had the same GP as you. It is now your skill level. So, when it first came out, I loved all the changes, and I still do, but the one thing, and that's the matchmaking. And kind of how they're doing their tiers. And we have some suggestions for that here in a minute. But I don't even know where I was going now. God dang it. I completely went blank with this. I had a great point to make.
Bob, you mentioned something about skill level. I want to throw out a hot take.
Okay.
I think the skill level system is flawed. And I think it's flawed for one reason. There are a lot of players, and I've talked to a few on Discord and in our journeys talking to other players in this game. There are some players that love 3v3, and there are players that hate it. There are players that love 5v5, and there's players that hate it. There are some players with prominent rosters that take seasons off to drop purposely because they hate the mode. They hate 3v3. So that's why I think the skill rating is flawed, because it's
being manipulated.
It's almost like what an NBA or an NFL team would do to get the number 1 pick in the draft. They tank. It's tank bowl. So they tank. They tank, and they get to a place where they look at their GAC and go, oh, I have 5 or 6 legends, or maybe 7 to their 3. Well, I'm just going to place 4 and smoke it. That's why I think the skill system that they're running is flawed, because they're not taking into account the human factor of people going, well, no, I'll lose some crystal income, tank for a bit, get to a comfortable position, and then curb stomp everything in my path, climbing back up
for a month or 2. Yeah,
exactly.
Usually. And instead of going maybe 1 and possibly going 1 and 2 where you should be, you're going 3-0 most of the time, just always winning. So that's why your account is such at a weird crossroad at what are you, 7.8 million? Like 7.4, right around 7.4.
And that's where your account is at such a crossroads where you're actually trying. You're really trying with the account you have, but you have people playing Tank Bowl, and you're bumping, like, what's the highest GP account you've bumped into in GAC in the past month?
Definitely that 9 million, but I've gotten many 9 millions just in a month.
That's
I think
ridiculous.
I have three 9 millions, and it's 6 GLs. Along with, they have Star Killer, they have Malgus and all that. So it's just impossible. And I think that's what I was trying to say earlier was, me, Paul, and Nev, we were all just like, just wait a couple of months. It's going to, work itself out. Because even then, matchmaking was horrible. And everyone was saying that was pro about it. Even I was saying, just wait a second after everyone, or, a few months, people are going to lose and win, and it's all going to even out. But yeah, it didn't even out, and it's still just as bad as it was day one. And people are, like you said, are manipulating, and that's the problem. But we did have some solutions to it, right? Did you guys?
Hold on. One last question.
Yeah.
Before you go into your, because you had good solutions. My last question: do you feel that the skill squish, which CG is yet to really address, does that have something to do with it? Because Kyber 1 is shrinking, and it's shrinking dramatically. Like I currently am holding on to Kyber 1 by a thread. If I lose my next 2 matches, I'll be back in Kyber 2.
What do you mean by skill squish? I don't understand.
The skill squish is Kyber 1 is shrinking. And for Pete's sake, and once again, I'm censoring myself because I'd be swearing up a storm right now. I don't understand how it works. I haven't really looked into it.
I'll help you out, Daniel.
Oh, there he is. There's the voice of God. Please speak to us.
So
The
essentially,
Force goes to Paul.
so there's not a inflation of the top skill number. What they do is they do a skill squish where they take, they shave off a few points from everybody proportionately on a curve.
Yeah, it's a bad curve.
So the question that, so Bones, you're 7 point something mil.
Yeah, 7.4.
Okay, so if you were to, so you going up against a 9 mil is like a 2 mil bump.
Yes, and 4 more GLs than me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I like levels and everything.
I say 5 mil. I say 5 mil. I'm roughly 5 mil. I'm 4.8. So I got about 200K to get to 5 mil.
Yeah, you're almost there.
I'm almost there.
Yeah.
So would you say that me as 5 mil, I have any business playing against an 8 mil?
Well, see, I don't even look at the GP. I mean, I look at GP and GLs, but I think it comes down to how many GLs they have. And I've seen some crazy GPs. I've seen like almost 8 million GP, and they'll have 0 to 1 GLs. Like, it can happen. So, as we know, GP
what
can
the
be
hell
weird.
are they working on?
And mind you, all
Everything
this thing,
else.
what I'm speaking about isn't just my my experiences. It's over. How long have we been doing this new system now? It's been at least a year, over a year. And so this is just me of a year of taking in how I feel. And when I read things in Discord, and hundreds and maybe thousands of other people are saying the same thing, I'm not the only one. And like, I have some people that have just started the game, and I kind of help them out how to do it, and we're just kind of playing the game together. And they're in Erodium and less, and they're taking on 3 to 4 GL opponents. I'm talking less than Erodium. I don't even know what's less than Erodium. What is it, Carbonite or something?
I think it's Carbonite. Yeah.
So like Carbonite, they're facing 3 and 4 million GP opponents. So it's everywhere. And why you'd want to fall that far? You're not even making that many crystals.
You're not.
So, and I don't understand it, but it's ruining things. Kane, do you have, like, before we get into the solutions, do you have anything else to like add to the problem? Like, what else is the problem about it?
I mean, for one, I get what you're saying. You can't look at a GP and that be the deciding factor on if you're going to win or lose. I've beaten 5, 6, and 7 mil opponents that had 2 or 3 GLs. At the same time, I've been humbled and put in my place respectively by people with 3, 3.5, 3, which are a mil plus less than me. Now, with that being said, I've only been playing a game for about 6 months. Now I have this awesome account that I've been working on, and I've been learning all of my kits and things like that. I have no business fighting somebody that's the same GP as me if I didn't already know like certain factors. Some of the stuff that I have been, bestowed upon me and learned and things like that is different. You put somebody else that's been playing 6 months, given this account, and has not done all the research that I've done, it's going to be a little different. I'm not saying 100% different, but it'll be a little different. The skill base that he's talking about, give me his account and see where I would hold up in Kyber 1. You know, I don't have the knowledge of the game that he does. I would probably drop Kyber 3, Kyber 4.
Oh, for sure. Like, skill is a huge part in this game. Like, knowledge, when to do something, when not to do something. That's why you just can't hit auto, right? Because the AI is dumb and can't do it. So, human skill is a part of the game. But there gets to a point where, yes, whether it's GP or GLs, where you're just straight up overpowered, right? You might be the best, UFC fighter in the world, but if Hercules came down and fought you, you would just get manhandled,
Oh yeah, you're getting handled.
Yeah, so there gets to a point where it just doesn't matter, and that's where I kind of think. So here's another question. I don't know how this works. Can there only be so many people in Kyber 1 and so many people in Kyber 2 and so on?
Yes, as long as they keep squish, as long as the squish occurs,
that's the squish.
There's only if I remember. Oh God, who said it? I don't. I wish I'd give him credit. It might have been the Gambit podcast. There's only a little over 2,000 people left in Kyber 1. That's it. That's it of the entire player base. That's all. That's not a lot. 2,000 like, in my opinion, at this point, if you're still in Kyber 1, you're doing something right. If you're in Kyber 2, you're doing something right. Because it's not just Kyber 1. It's trickling down, like Kyber 2 is shrinking. So it
just needs some kind of revamp. Like, this is the first version of the newest Grand Arena system. They've always had different versions and updated it. It's time for a new update,
And with the crystal income so dependent on your performance in GAC, what do you guys think are some, let me stress the word probable. What are some probable solutions? Like, what do you think CG could do to alleviate the situation that is going on right now? Like, because it's just getting worse.
Kane, you go ahead, man.
Well, I was going to let you take it, but you were you were like, this was burning a hole, man, and we kept cutting you off, and I really wanted to get your take.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Solution. So pretty much my solution to how, just a couple simple things is, first of all, I guess this whole add some space for people to get in there. If it's 2,000, make it like 5,000 or something in Kyber 1, but make a little bit more space for people to fit in up there. But if you're a certain GP, i.e. 9 million, you shouldn't be falling. I would even say past Kyber 2. I'll give you Kyber 3, but I should never, ever see you in Kyber 4 or below. And that goes for like a 4 million account. If you have 4 million, 2 GLs, you should never be in a Rhodium. Or maybe you can go to a Rhodium. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm not perfect. I am not there's a reason I don't do that for a living. But, there's certain GPs that should never fall to a certain point, because it's taken away the fun. And especially for these beginner people who I'm trying to get into the game for free, and they're making something off these people. But you're going to kill the fun for these people because these people are manipulating. And once again, you're in Carbonite and going up against a 3 million opponent, and you're 500K. And I'm getting many people tell me about this, So the first thing is, I guess, opening it up to where more people can be in Kyber 1. But that's just because more people are getting higher end accounts. And don't allow, i.e. a 9 million, to leave Kyber 4, or we'll say Kyber 3, to save you some room, or I don't know how it all works, right? And I've heard that matchmaking is a very complicated thing, but just because it's complicated, it doesn't mean they can just give up on it and not work on it. It seems like they're good where it's at, and they're just going to leave it at that. I think they should always be working on matchmaking, because it can really ruin someone's fun, and it's ruining the fun for me. And one more thing to add to that, like at the very least, take GLs into consideration with matchmaking. Because once again, GP isn't the most accurate thing. You can't just go off just GP, but you could, there needs to just be a few more variables. And if you do it too many times, people start complaining because they keep fighting the same person You know what I'm saying? More than once. Sometimes I would like to fight the same person again. Maybe I want a rematch, or maybe you can start a rivalry with this person. That's not like really a bad thing. But yeah, just like taking GLs into consideration. Like at the most 2 GLs more than what you have. And if you don't have any GLs, yeah, no more than 1 or 2, something like that. But you guys got any suggestions?
Well, I think there's a lot of I mean, Bones, you bring up a lot of good points. But I think there are a couple of things that when CG created this system, there's a couple of things that they didn't plan for. Skill rating. I think skill rating is a flawed concept. I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm not beating my own chest, but I have played some people in GAC around my GP level, and they couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat. Like they set the worst defenses. They don't have, like, they played the game for a long time, but I don't know if they don't follow content creators or what it is, but they don't have a good grasp or concept of the game. So you've got that population, that very small population of people that are just not very good at it, but they play. But then you've got that population of people that, well, I'm going to tank. I don't like this. This is too hard. I'm going to tank 2 or 3 seasons, drop a bunch, and then feast on after I drop, I'm going to feast on these people because I have a higher GP. So the skill level, it's flawed. It's a flawed system because it doesn't take into account the human factor of people who really don't know how to play the game very well, people that tank on purpose, and it's a flawed system. So I do think there needs to be a new system set up where it's GP related and also legend related. You have this many legends in this GP, you should be in this bracket. This is where you should be. If you suck at the game, then it's time to get good, bro.
Right.
It's time to get better at the game.
Yeah.
You want to play, you want to get the rewards, it's time to get better.
Real quick, Big Country Mag says, for a suggestion, do a full GP reset and put minimum GP floor. What do you think about that?
So I would
repeat that. What did he say?
He said do a complete galactic power reset. So I'm not sure. It sounds cool. Mags, you might see what you mean, and then put a minimum galactic power floor.
So reset everything back to where it was when this new stuff started, and then put a galactic power floor on each of the tiers. The only problem with that,
I don't.
If I'm already in Kyber, I'm not going to drop down to a Rhodium, and that will just inflate 5.
Yeah.
To just be a no man's land, and nobody's going to advance because you got the people that barely play, and then you got the people that are all hyper focused on it.
Yeah.
The other issue with that is, just like you guys were saying, just because you're a 7 or 8, 9 mil GP doesn't mean that you have the skill to be in that GAC. So if I have a 9 mil, but I can't beat a 6 mil, I have no business being up there with the rest of the guys at Kyber. Whenever this 6 mil is down.
But you also don't have any business coming down and bullying up on other,
exactly. But the other thing is how often is that case going to actually be something where you're 9 mil and you can't beat a 6 mil account when you're outweighing your opponent 5 legends to 2? I mean, I'm sorry.
The legend cap, I would say yes to the legend cap. If you have so many legends, you cannot drop down so that you can just start getting a whole bunch of wins and just keep tanking yourself to stay there.
And,
I would say a legend
yeah,
cap, not a GP cap, though.
maybe a cap on certain divisions for legends is an incentive for people to get more legends. Like if you have a certain amount of legends, then you're at this area, and here's a reward for your investment for playing our game. This is where you're at. Have fun. Now, as time goes on, those brackets will expand because people will get more legends, but that's where you make more brackets.
Yeah, update it.
Dependent on GP.
It. Yeah.
Now a GP reset, I would agree with as well. Now, not in the the sayings of completely reset everybody's GP. I'm not saying that. I would say all that you've done in GAC, wipe it off the table. As of today, it means absolutely nothing, and let everybody work back towards it based off of the GP that they're currently at. Now that I would agree with, because that actually gives me a chance to go back, if that makes sense. So if I'm not meant to be where I'm at in Chromium with my 4.8, and I make it to a Rhodium 5, or Bones, if you're not supposed to be a Rhodium 1, if that's not where your skill is, drop back down. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I think I'm tracking. What you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like something needs to be worked on. Just try something. I mean, it's the most simple algorithm right now they're using. You can add a few more variables and try it out. If it doesn't work out, we could always go back.
Yeah, like I feel like if you're in Kyber 1, you know what you're going to expect. You've got all the toys, you got the legends, you know what you know what you're going to be facing. When you get to 7.4, 4.8 in that area, it's dangerous waters you're trying to navigate because you don't know. Like, and like the best example is Kane. Like you walk into GAC and I'm at 4 point whatever, and oh my God, this guy's got 6.7 something and 2 more GLs than I. It's like.
I have a quick question for you. I have a quick question. What's the smallest account you've went up against? Since you're one of these big dogs, what's the smallest account you've ever went up against?
I'll be 100% honest, and I'm gonna just put the tag on my forehead that I was that guy. Back in the last 5v5, I faced a guy, and I got to give him credit for being where he was. He was at like 8 point something with 5 GLs, and I had all 7, and I did what you should do. You scouted him, you saw what he placed, used him. And you placed Jabba because you don't think you could beat him. You placed Lord Vader with 104% dodge Datacron because that's what I had. And you be
I hate you. I hate those guys.
I'm trying to censor myself, but a complete
B-star
Jack A. And that's what you are. And that's what I did. And after the match, I messaged the guy and I said to him, like, dude, I'm paraphrasing, but hey, I got to give you credit. You are where you are. You must be doing something right. And he actually said to me, he goes, no, man, I am constantly facing people with more GLs than I. He said it's constant, but I play well. And I think that's the flip side of the coin for the skill rating. If we change it, it may hurt those people that And then again, it may not. They'll get back to where they were. But there are some players out there with lower accounts like take Calvin Awesome, for instance. That dude just runs rum shot over people. And
Yeah, I like Calvin. Yeah,
he doesn't have all the GLs. And he murks people. Absolutely murks them. So
I don't think there's as many as those people as there is just casual players. I mean, this game is my life, but if you watch my streams, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't know the kits like I should. You know,
I love your streams. I love watching your GAC stream. You know how many times I go, no, don't do that.
We even made a sticker of Paul saying, "Hey, dumb A, look over here," because the chat will be trying to tell me to do something, and I'll just be clicking away. But I have to do something over and over and over again, make a bunch of mistakes, learn from my mistakes to actually get what I'm doing solid and get a solid counter. And so everyone's different, man. Some people are smarter, some aren't. Some people play casually. Some people watch content creators. Some don't. Some, just participate for, they do their participation rewards. I mean, there's all kinds of different things. But I think the only thing that matters is I think Kyber 1 and 2, you guys can just be left alone. The only thing I think is, like I said, they need to extend this amount of people that can be in it, and also keep people from falling. All I don't like is that my friends and I have to keep going up against accounts that don't belong there. So if they can just figure that out, I think matchmaking, even if they just dwindle it down more, it doesn't always have to be perfect every match. But I want to go up against a match that's even, I don't think I've ever gone against someone who's evenly matched. It's always someone higher than me. And I can think of one time I bullied up on somebody. And I think they might have beat me. I think I didn't bully them at all. They bullied me.
That topic actually brings me to a question, and I will ask it right after this break.
Yeah, I was going to say it's about the top of the hour. We got to go to break, folks. Kane's going to ask us this wonderful question, and after the break, we're going to do a little bit of a round table on what we're grinding. What are we working on? Kane's at 4-point-something million GP. Bones is at 7-something point GP. I'm at 10. Different aspects of the game. What are we all grinding and what are we working on? That's coming back after this break. So stay tuned for the next part of the Escape Podcast, The Old Man's Private Reserve. We'll be right back at you.
There you go. Nice job.
Dude, you killed that.
By the way, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of farm and grind.
Dude, I want to make an album of just Swoggle songs.
I'm not.
That's how I met Thad.
Going to comment on that.
You met Thad how?
I met Thad. As soon as I met Thad, I started coming up with parody songs. When mod slicing was first introduced, there was Slice Slice Baby.
Well, we'll have to come together maybe make something. Because all day at work, I listen to like the oldies, the ones that are just really catchy, and it just plays all day. And I've done that my whole life. They just come up in your head so easily, and you just parry them. I mean, Weird Al was a genius. I can't believe there's no other Weird Al out in the world.
I'm gonna say this. If something, God forbid, should ever happen to Weird Al, they need to do a benefit concert where the original artists sing his version.
Dude, genius.
Oh, that would be
amazing. They need to do that anyways.
Oi.
That is genius. I would
love that.
Yeah. I think you need to be
well, what about the artists that already died though?
We'll bring back a hologram.
You can't have Michael Jackson doing "I'm Fat."
Eat it.
All right, you guys should come back from break, finish this up. You're coming. I don't know what you guys want to call the bridge. The last pour.
Yeah, I like that.
No, it's It's the grind.
The
The grind. What are we grinding?
last
What are we
call.
working on?
Big Country Meg says last call.
Last call.
I like that.
There you go. All right.
Last call. That's
For
good.
the last
That's good.
segment.
I'll do with
Yeah,
that.
that's good.
There you go. All right. So,
Last call.
Real quick. So will we be doing Patreon's choice anymore? Or
I mean, Patreon's choice would be during last call. Right now, there are no questions in the Patreon's section.
Yeah.
So.
No one wants to know questions about us.
No, nobody wants to hear it.
Nobody gives a shit.
And since we're in break, I have to say it. You know, he was mentioned. He's been mentioned multiple times, and just nobody's brought him up.
Yeah. I'll bring him up.
Don't do it.
Oh no, it's happening. If he doesn't, I am.
Oh, I got a way to segue into it. Don't worry.
All right. So, Brian, are you ready to bring him back?
I'm ready when you are, God.
All righty. So, Misa thinks you should go back to the game right now.
You mother puss bucket.
Good job.
Man, you're back in 3, 2, 1.
And welcome back to the Escape Podcast, aka the Old Man's Private Reserve. And we are still here with Kane and Bob. And you know what? We all have different accounts in different segments of the game. So for this last segment, I like to call this New Brews. You know, do this on the Old Man's Cantina. New Brews, what we're working on. What are we grinding? What are we doing? What's going on with our rosters? What are we doing in our respective GPs? How are we spending our very valuable resources? So, starting with low man on the totem pole, the immortal one, my brother from another mother. What are we Kane, what are we working on right now, man? What are we farming in our roster? What are we what's new and exciting?
I'm still right now I'm still farming exec. I got my Piet to relic 4. My Vader's relic 7.
That's not 9.
No, I'm at Piet's not 9 yet.
How far are you? Like realistically, at your GP, how far is that going to take? How long is that going to take you to get Piet to 9?
A long time. Don't do that.
Give me, I don't know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
That's it?
From right now.
Okay.
I've been hoarding.
But
like
have you R9 somebody before? You've never truly R9 someone until you R9 them. It's insane. I would recommend against it, and I would go for profundity soon. And
so
that be your first R9.
The requirement is not R9. It's
right.
R8.
So I would not R9, man. Like
I'm only going to 8. I need to get this done as quick as possible. I'm trying to help my guild, but I'm also staying true to all of our followers and supporters. They chose this, and I am staying true 100% to it. I will not stop until it's done.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool that you're doing that. That's pretty fun too. But yeah, if the profundity was not out, and I would tell you to R9 him, but profundity's out. It requires an R9. Profundity can slice right through Executor. You'll already have Executor, so you can put him on defense, save your profundity for offense, and it won't matter because the only reason you're R9ing some Executor is to get that first move off in a mirror match. So, so it would only temporarily help you anyways, because eventually you'll have to get profundity. I recommend you go right into the profundity. But yeah, don't R9 him. I'll never R9 someone unless it's a requirement. It's that bad.
At my GP, and I don't disagree with you. If I was a higher GP and I was just like really easily getting relic 9s and things like that, I would go straight into profundity after I finished Executor. At my GP, I'm not even seeing Executors. I mean, I'm 1, 2 here and there.
Oh, that's good.
I'm not seeing any profundities. I have not seen a single one.
So go ahead. I don't know what I was gonna say.
I'm seeing a lot of slickers, which I can handle that. I'm seeing a lot of rays, believe it or not. I hear that Ray is like the most unfarmed GL, and I'm seeing one almost every single match. If they have a GL, even if it's just one, it's Slicker or Ray.
Well, that number's gone up since Ben solo.
Yeah,
Honestly, that is true. That is
what's funny that's that stat because she's the last one on my list to go for. I may never get her because I'll probably keep chasing the newest one instead of going back and going for her. It's weird that that's the stat because her requirements are the worst. Like they're the worst. They're the least useful. Unfortunately.
But that is 100% my whole farm right now. I'm not working on anything else other than the executive.
What's your I always know what my next one's going to be after my current one. Are you going to leave it up to the homies, or are you going to decide yourself?
Not this time. I've already got a path after. After I'm going to get my Inquisitors done. Like I said, I really want to help out my guild, and I think that I can do my Inquisitors fairly quickly. From there, it'll be gas.
Are you running the new territory battle? I can't
Yes.
remember.
Yes.
Oh, for sure. There's no reason not to, man. And you'll get Reva eventually, and you'll just be kicking arse.
I'm really hurting on dark side, which is why I was fine with going for the Executor, and not being able to help my guild with the Inquisitors. Like I don't have Grand Inquisitor, so I haven't been able to do the battle, so I don't know if that's a requirement. If it is, I can't do it. But it'll only help me on dark side. I cannot do any dark side missions at all because I don't have a 1, 2, 3. I have 3 dark side characters that are really fun.
It's by far the hardest side in the entire map. I can't do them either. I have no dark side GLs, and without them, everyone else sucks. I have a Malgus, R7 Malgus. He gets smoked in a few turns. Like I couldn't believe it. I was like, really? So overall, even I can't at 7.4. I need a couple of dark side GLs. I don't have that. I have JMK and JML. Now, Executor and Profundity help me a lot because the ship missions are very easy in TV. Real quick, I wanted to talk about this. Actually, it's a whole separate thing. And you guys are always talking about the territory war, how things are going for you. And I know we're supposed to be talking about our rosters, but this is
no, actually, territory wars goes into our rosters. Yeah,
or not wars. I'm sorry, battles. I'm still talking
territory
about
battles goes into our rosters.
Yeah, I'm still talking about rote here. Has your guys? So what do we have 3 under our belt now?
I think this is the third. This is the third.
This is our third.
Okay, well, my opinions have kind of changed after every one I've done has kind of changed. Has your guys' opinions changed about it at all? Or are you feeling kind of the same way about it?
No, I love it.
You love it?
I still enjoy it. I still enjoy it. I do. I'm
maybe it's because I have 2 accounts, but I'm feeling some fatigue.
I am very
That's because you have 2 accounts.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is. But I am feeling some extreme fatigue, especially I'm busier than ever. And there's sometimes where it's just my fault. Like I'll think I did something, but I did it on the other account and not the other one. And it's just really confusing. And I'm really feeling the fatigue with it. Shorter spans. I mean, it's more fast paced. I mean, I don't mind the setup and everything, but as far as just like, and maybe you're right. Maybe it's just because I have 2 accounts and it's wearing and tearing on me because I do like how it's set up. I do like everything about it. But man, like the 25-hour things, I work for half that. And then like, I'll go to sleep for the second half. So I have to come straight home and I barely make I don't know if it's a 12-hour deadline or something. I'm missing every deadline until like the last minute. And then sometimes I'll be so tired, I'll just be like, I'll just let him be mad at me. That's just how it comes to.
I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that combat missions are not as important. Platooning and deploying is really the big thing. Like I feel like in any guild, you're going to have those overachievers like myself that do the combat missions, get those extra points to make sure we secure that other star. But there's other members of the guild that work strange hours, may not be able to meet the requirements of it due to it being only 24 hours. So I think it's good. I like for Bob, for you, it's, you do what you can, you deploy, because really the money in this new event is made on deployments. That's where you're getting your stars, is in deployments. And I think CG is they've given some thought to the human factor of people that have to work, have other things to do. Maybe they can only get one battle in, or maybe two battles in. But if you can deploy the sector that the guild wants, you'll get that extra star. And I feel like they've done a good job balancing that with this event. I really do. I feel like they've done a good job with that.
Yeah, and I agree 1000%. I guess I'm just being I guarantee it's that second account. You know what I mean? And having to do all that. This literally both of them at the same time.
Bob, I tip my imaginary cap to you. How you play two accounts, dude? I don't like.
And two Marvel Strike Force accounts.
Oh my God.
And then streaming,
no wonder
and then
you're
work,
sleeping
and then family.
half the day.
Right?
Yeah, but I can't help it. Like I just, if I get tired with one account, I want to be able to keep doing something until I fall asleep. I must have ADHD or something. But and real quick, shout out to Big Country Mags. He R5'd low grade for platoons. That's some dedication, man. Have you guys done anything like that? Have you guys got any? Has your guild asked you to take a crappy character and up it for platoons?
My guild asked me to do Imperial Probe Droid, but only because I already had him at Relic 6.
I mean, he's a cool tune. I've never used him. I don't have him anywhere near usability, but
I did Imperial Probe Droid because for a while I was running a Grievous lead with all droids, not separatists, and it was just stuff.
Do you remember the nuke team back in the Darth Revan era when Darth Revan was new?
Yeah.
I couldn't get Darth Revan because I was free to play, so I had to wait. So I stayed in the meta top like 30 in my arena. This is back when you got paid crystals for it. Just with the IG-88 lead nuke team, and it had Imperial Droid, T3M4, BB-8, and General Grievous with IG-88 lead. And it would just demolish Malak and Revan teams. Now, it wasn't 100%, like 80% of the time, but just to see him smoking Malak and Revan like nothing, that was good times. But anyways.
My guild hasn't asked me to do any of them yet. All my guild has really asked all of us to do is Inquisitors, and for the Reva shards.
And that's fair. That's one of the most important teams because they forced it to be, not because it actually occurred, but it is. I mean, there's nothing we can do about it. I don't hate them or anything. I just think it takes a lot of investment to get a little back, and we haven't even seen that investment pay off yet. We don't even know how much Reva pays off yet, but we're hoping so. How mad are we going to be if she's not what we thought she was going to be? You know,
I don't see that on paper. I don't see how that's not going to be devastating.
So, are you farming anything, Bob? Are you farming anything that would shock and awe us?
Never.
And me, it's going to. Because you got me by like 3 mil.
I've never, and I want to do this, and maybe territory battles will give me a reason. I want to pick a meme character and relic it up. I would love to do Jawas, but I'm so vanilla with like I have to know that it's definitely going to help my roster out because I'm like Logan said, I'm kind of in the sweet spot. I'm still not where I can luxuriously take a character. I can't even take my trio up if they're not required for something. It really sets me back if I'm not focusing on a character that's required for something. Now I do a thing where I'll farm 1 or 2 GLs, maybe 2 GLs and a legendary, and then I take a 6-month break, and I do that. I did that with the Dash prepared team. I did the Mon Mothma team that was really good with, if you get JMK and JML, you kind of have a throw together Mon Mothma team. But I did the one with Cara Dune, Kyle, Pal. So I wanted that to be, it was pretty good at the time. I did my Imperial Troops, IR7 Dark Trooper. I don't know if he's needed for anything, but I wanted to stop and have some fun, right? And it did put like a wrench into my efficiency, timing, and everything. But you got to do that. Like after you've gotten 2 GLs, you might have to take a few month break and work on a team that you want, and then go back to doing it, because you lose your sanity. I mean, eventually you're just farming stuff that they're making you farm. But as far as that, no, I don't have any interesting ones. What I am farming right now, I'm literally on the tip of finishing Jabba. I only have a few more relic levels overall, maybe like 5 relic level. I'm literally there. I'm salivating and I'm ready to, and so I'll probably be streaming that too. Whenever that happens, kind of like you did with your JML. Very excited about that. So with that being said, with that being close, I am already farming the droids for Afra. Afra looks fun. She's gonna maybe help me in 3v3. She's needed for nodes and territory battle, so it just makes sense to kind of segue into her. I just think her team looks fun, and then I will also be doing Inquisitors after that to help out it just makes sense. It's the newest teams. So I got to do all that, and then by that point, I'm probably going to have another GL like Leia or whoever we think is going to be the next one, and I'll probably end up farming her because I'm a original trilogy freak. I'll always pick those characters over Rey or Slacker. I do like Slacker as a character. I think he gives you that good fleet that can counter a Executor, but sometimes as a collector, it's just the ones that I connect with the most. But that goes for you too. Like, does your roster have one that may not be a meta character, but it's a cool character? Kind of like Paul said, he did Hondo. He may not be the greatest, but that's his character. That's his favorite. Kind of like my meme character would be Stormtrooper Han. That's who I want to do. Do you have anything like that on yours, Kane?
I haven't gotten the opportunity to unlock my character yet.
Who's that?
It's Starkiller, man, hands down. But the reason I say be my meme character is because I've seen all the lineups and team comps for Starkiller. I'm not going to use those. I'm going to find one. I'm going to find one. I'm going to find my own.
I think there's only
people.
You do know how Starkiller works, right? Like, it's very narrowed down.
Light, dark, yeah. And unaligned.
All right, I'm ready to see your.
I'm just like I said, I'm going to find one. People are going to see my team, and I'm going to be like, okay, this isn't going to work. They're going to destroy it, and they're like, man, you just like, why would you do that? And then I'm going to come across my team, and they're going to be like, I've never seen that, but it completely destroyed me.
All right. Do you want to hear about a 3v3 team that I've never told anyone because it was so OP? And everyone in chat, get closer here because I don't want to whisper it. I don't want you guys telling Arnold or, Fatal or anything. Why? C-3PO, Ahsoka Fulcrum.
Really?
Try it out, man. I used to do it all the time.
I can see the first two. The third one threw me.
It's pretty fun. She's not going to take out anything meta. I'm just messing with you. But
I thought you were going to say Hermit Yoda instead of Fulcrum.
Do that. Please do that. Because you know what happens, right? If you take those 3 in, you'll automatically die because they're all passive characters. So as soon as you take those 3 in, we should have said that, Paul, and not told him. Yeah, you'll automatically.
I would have done it.
lose.
I'd have done it. I would have
Well,
100%.
it's
I'd have
OP.
done it.
Anyways, so Logan,
Hold
what's
on.
up, man? What's you
Hold
got
on
going
here. Not that anyone gives a flying,
Hoot.
fluctuating flatoid about somebody sitting at 10.2 million does, but I brought Ninth Sister to Relic 9 because I wanted some more survivability for the Grand Inquisitor Datacron that I have. So I brought Ninth Sister to Relic 9. I'm working to finishing sortie, about close to 50 of 100. I'm working on Afra. I'm slow farming BT1, Trip 0. I do have Zorii Bliss to 4-star, Gear 10, working on that. But other than that, I brought Hondo to 7, young Lando to 6, just trying to help out the guild in the new TB, just bringing certain tunes to certain areas that are going to help. So
besides Afra, do you have anything else to farm towards?
No,
Except taking up relic levels?
No, I don't. Like Afra's, I have everything else. That's why I just said no one's gonna give a flying fucking finagle about what I'm doing because I'm at the tip of the spear. Like nobody cares. I'm done.
You're just sitting there polishing your characters.
Yeah,
now.
I'm literally I brought Hondo to Relic 7 because it was cool. Like
Are you gear farming for the Gungans?
Stream cuts off. You know they're coming, man. They're running out of stuff to put in the game.
I will go free to play.
Misa, something.
So we're gonna get the old man's take on whether or not his gear hoarding is for the Gungans right after this break.
I think
there is no break. This is the end of the show.
Oh, it's the end of the show, you
How is it the end of the show?
wagon?
It's 2 hours.
In. Yeah.
Oh, it is 2 hours in.
Well, remember you were gone for one segment, so that's probably why.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
But hey,
okay,
Paul,
so old man Logan's
before you
reaction.
Yeah, before I push the button.
Real quick though, Paul, please get us the Gungan reveal, a Jar Jar reveal for old man Logan. It's up to you.
It's gonna go to either might go to Dickie Darkside, but there's somebody else who's already in line if we ever do get a Jar Jar.
Okay, well at least have Logan on the
we'll
panel,
see what we can do.
All right, so
they can reveal it just like they had me reveal Hondo. They could be like, all right, you're going to do a kit reveal. You ready?
And for those of you that don't know, if you're fans of the Escape podcast, you never caught the old man's Cantina, you're going to find out real quick where I stand on Gungans. It's just not, just don't. Don't put that hate on me, Ricky Bobby.
Logan, what do you guys got coming up, man? What's coming up in the next on the next Old Man's Cantina?
On the next Old Man's Cantina, we are looking to have another content creator join us. I just got in touch with him recently. He's a I don't know how long he's been doing it, but he's a good content creator. It's Nooch, the
Star Wars dad.
Yeah, the Star Wars dad. He's gonna be looking to be on the Old Man's Cantina next Tuesday. He wants to have a spot, and we are trying. We're gonna see what happens, but we are possibly looking to have Zareth on for the next episode of the Escape podcast, the Old Man's Private Reserve. I've been in touch with Zareth and would love to have him on for the incoming transmission. So that's a good
Awesome
possibility
guy.
of what we got coming up.
2 weeks from tonight on the 27th.
Yeah, that's it. The 27th.
I went against Zareth on my alt account.
Oh, you went against Professor X?
Yeah, I have the video on my YouTube. I'll send it to you guys sometime. Yeah, the title
You should
is,
see all the blood.
I was gonna say the title is literally "I got my beat kicked by Zareth" is the gif on the
Kane, I didn't even realize this till his last video. I didn't know Zareth was a vet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
There you go. That's a great guest for episode number 1.
And he was in the sandbox. Like, my respect for that man went up about like 100 points.
Logan, you're also streaming other games, aren't you?
Yes. It's not announced. It's more like if I do something that, go into my garage and, do something that makes me feel frisky, I may stream Dark Souls or Tekken 7.
There you go.
I have to say, it's coming soon, folks. Tekken 8 is on the horizon.
Yes.
I call Bob.
I'm not saying SWGOH is going to take a back seat.
No, the character Bob.
Oh,
Tekken 8 hits.
my favorite fighting game ever made. I'm down, man. Let's do some stuff with it.
Bob, have you watched any of my Tekken footage?
Oh yeah, I'm scared of you.
All right.
I'm not trying to be.
Well,
I'm not.
you guys are running overtime, so I'm taking the reins in. My name is Paul. My name is Paul Anthony. Thank you so much for tuning into the Escape Podcast, the Old Man's Private Reserve. We love each and every single one of you guys, and be here in 2 weeks. Next week, I believe, is the MSF show. In 2 weeks, you'll see these fools again having some fun.
We will be here.
Until then, be nice to each other, damn it. And Kane, push the button.
The button.
There you go. And then you'd hit the close and you'd be out. There you go, my friends.
Where's the after show?
Well, that's that's for the Patreons and subs. Let's go to it on our Discord server.
Go to your mailbox outside, and there's a secret invitation.
All right, guys. We are signing off on Twitch.
Hey guys, I can't make it. I got to be at work at 6 in the morning. So.
I hear you, brother.
Bye.
You gotta do what you gotta do.